evening and welcome to the National News Broadcast. We are going to bring you the latest from home and around the world. I'm Nathalia Veeravardhana.
A very good evening to you. I'm Dishan Veerakon and here are your headlines for tonight. President says freedom, democracy and the independence of judiciary in the country were ensured during his tenure. The nominations for the presidential election can be called between September 15th and October 15th, the Election Commission announced. A warm welcome for Minister Sajith Premadasa in Kurunegala. 293 persons arrested over the Easter Sunday attack. UK Prime Minister suffered a parliamentary defeat after MPs turned down the bid to call for general elections next month.
President Maithripala Sirisena says that he ensured the freedom and democracy as well as the independence of the judiciary in the country. The president made these comments while taking part in the inauguration ceremony of new court complex built at Polonnaruwa city this morning. The new court complex was built at a cost of 327 million rupees and three-storied complex comprised of a high court, a district court, a magistrate court and other office facilities. President Maithripala Sirisena said that during the past 5 years he had created a free environment enabling the judiciary to make decisions independently and impartially without political interference. President further said that even though whatever allegations were levelled against him, he had established freedom and democracy as well as independence of the judiciary in the country. The president said that since the inauguration of the executive presidency, every president in the country has been accused of interfering with the judiciary. However, he said that no such allegations have been made during his tenure. The president said that he is happy for being able to create an environment enabling the judiciary to make decisions independently and impartially without political interference, and the people of the country also consider it a great privilege and a right.
සතුටු වෙනවා මගේ කාලය තුල අධිකරණ ශාස්ත්‍රයට සිය සේවාවන් කරන්න ඉතාමත්ම විශිෂ්ට පසුබිමක් අපි ගොඩනගලා දුන්නා බලපෑම් වලින් තොරව. එය අධිකරණ ශාස්ත්‍රයේ විනිශ්චයකාරතුමාලට ලැබුණු විශිෂ්ට වරප්‍රසාදයක්. වගේම රටේ පොදු ජනතාවට එය ලැබුණු විශේෂ වරප්‍රසාදයක් අයිතියක් විදිහටයි මම දකින්නේ.
Many ministers and public representatives were present on this occasion. The newly built three-storied classroom building at the Polonnaruwa Royal College was vested with the studentship under the patronage of the President today. The project was carried out under the Pibidemu Polonnaruwa District Development Programme. The building was built at a cost of 42 million rupees. The President presented awards to the students who have excelled in education and sports and other school activities. The presentation of the book titled Polonnaruwa Narapati Yugaya Sita Janapati Yugaya Dakwa to the students was held under the patronage of the President. More than 4,000 students took part in the ceremony held at Royal College. The book was presented to 55 schools during the ceremony.
Now, Chairman of the Election Commission, Mahinda Deshapriya, says that the nominations for the presidential election can be called between September 15th and October 15th. He made these remarks while making a special statement to the national television.
Chairman
of the Election Commission, Mahinda Deshapriya, said that the Election Commission officials are engaged in necessary discussions and preparing relevant documents for the preliminary proceedings of the presidential election. He said that the dates of the submission of nominations and the presidential elections will be announced with the issuance of the notice for the presidential election nominations. He added that November 15th is the closest date to hold the presidential election. The chairman said that the notice for the presidential election nominations is expected to be issued between September 15th and October 15th. However, he said that an announcement is expected to be issued on September 15th, the International Day of World Democracy.
Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe called on Maldivian Minister of Foreign Affairs Abdullah Shahid and Singaporean Minister of Foreign Affairs Vivian Balakrishnan during his two-day official visit to the Maldives. The meeting between the Prime Minister and Maldivian Minister of Foreign Affairs Abdullah Shahid was held at a tourist resort in Kurumba Island on the 2nd September. The meeting with Singaporean Minister of Foreign Affairs Vivian Balakrishnan was held on 3rd September. The meeting was held at the sidelines of the Indian Ocean Summit in Paradise Island. Ministers Vajra Bewardena, Rauf Hakim and Dayagamage were present on this occasion.
Now, a public rally to welcome Minister Sajith Premadasa was organised in Kurunegala today. A warm welcome was extended to the minister at the public rally. A massive public gathering had assembled in the Kurunegala Satyavadi grounds for the rally. Minister Sajith Premadasa said that he has no powerful influences through nepotism or resources or elite affiliations, as he only has the support of the public. He said that he will dedicate himself into the public service when he achieves the victory in the near future. He said that his hands are not stained with corruption or bloodshed, and he has not protected drug traffickers or murderers. He said that he continuously engages in development work in the country from dawn to dusk amidst various allegations made against him. He then pledged the public that he will dedicate himself completely for the betterment of the people.
Parliamentary debate on Sri Lanka Export Development Act was held today with heated arguments between the government and opposition members. Later, the Speaker decided to postpone the vote on the Act following a party leaders' meeting. The debate was started this morning, although many parliamentarians were absent today. The quorum bell had to be rung midway through the sittings today, as there was hardly anyone in the House. Later, some opposition parliamentarians accused that most UNP MPs had gone to Kurunegala to attend a rally in support of United National Party Deputy Leader Sajith Premadasa instead of attending parliament sessions. Leader of the House Lakshman Kiriyala said that he agreed with the concerns raised and that all ministers facing questions in parliament must be present to respond. Minister Kiriyala, however, said that he was prepared to respond to any question posed to the government. During the debate, opposition members demanded a vote when opposition member Sriyani Vijayavikrama was in the chair. Leader of the House Lakshman Kiriyala stated that the vote would be held on another day. Speaker Karu Jayasuriya came to the chair when the argument on the vote was going on.
ස්ථාවරණියෝග 23 එක පිටා පැහැදිලිව තිබෙනවා මෙහෙම. අද ඕඩර් පේපර් එකේ ඉතා පැහැදිලිව සඳහන් කරලා තිබෙනවා මේ පනත අද ඉදිරිපත් කරනවාද ගන්න ඕනේ කියලා. ඒ නිසා ඒ වෙනුවට වෙනත් දිනයක් ගන්න බෑ. පනත ඡන්දයට යන්න ඕනේ.
ආණ්ඩු පක්ෂයේ වගකීම තමයි කැමැත්ත තමයි ඡන්දයක් ඉල්ලනවද නැද්ද කියලා අවසානයේ. ඒ අදාළ ඇමතුමා ඇවිල්ලා පිටුතුරු දෙන්න තියෙනවා. ඇමතුමා නැති නිසා මම කිව්වේ. නෑ මම අහන්නේ මුල් ආසනෙන් කොහෙද තියෙන්නේ දැන් මෙතන අවසන් කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා. කොයි වගන්තියටද කියලා. What is the standing order?
කුරුණෑගල UMP රැස්වීමක් තියෙන නිසා පාර්ලිමේන්තුව කල් දානවා කියලා පනතේ නෑ. සජිත් ප්‍රේමදාස මහත්තයාගේ රැස්වීමට කියලා පනතේ නෑ. ඒ නිසා අනිවාර්යෙන් ඡන්දයකට යන්න ඕනේ. ලේකතුමා බෙල්ල කරන්න. ඔබට අපි ගහනවා බෙල්ල එක.
අනිත් පොයින්ට් පොඩ.
ගරු කතානායකතුමා මූලාසනයට.
Order please, order please. And at the moment, no one has moved under 46 either. That the question now be put. Minister must come and Honourable Speaker clarify it.
Yeah.
And since the government, this is a government motion, the government must have the right to decide when to put it to vote. Minister is not available at the moment.
Order please, we have already scheduled a party leaders meeting now. I'll suspend for 10 minutes and we'll meet out the party leaders.
Later, the Speaker adjourned the session and called a party leaders' meeting. Following the meeting, he came to the chair and announced that the vote on the Sri Lanka Export Development Act would be held on another day, as agreed by the party leaders.
Meanwhile, Foreign Secretary Ravinatha Arya expressed Sri Lanka's fullest support to Australia in curtailing human smuggling operations originating from Sri Lankan shores. The Sri Lankan Foreign Secretary made these remarks during a meeting held with an Australian delegation for countering people smuggling and human trafficking recently. The Australian delegation was led by Commander of Australia's Joint Task Force Operation Sovereign Borders, Major General Craig Ferrini. Both the parties have discussed on countermeasures against people smuggling and discussed on the avenues for strengthening cooperation to address the recent escalation of the number of people smuggling ventures from Sri Lanka to Australia. The Foreign Secretary stressed the need to jointly develop sustainable and long-term strategies, including targeted campaigns to change the public perception and to educate Sri Lankans on the risk involved in irregular migration. According to a media release issued by the Foreign Affairs Ministry, Sri Lanka and Australia maintain a solid partnership which has been successful in combating people smuggling and transnational border crime. Sri Lanka continues to provide valuable support to Australia in combating people smuggling as per the media release. High Commissioner to Sri Lanka David Hawley was part of the Australian delegation.
Police media spokesman SP Ruwan Gunasekara says that 293 persons have been taken into custody over the Easter Sunday terror attack. 115 suspects have been remanded after completing relevant interrogations. The police media spokesman, speaking at a media briefing held in Colombo, said that the other suspects are currently being detained and further interrogated. Police media spokesman SP Ruwan Gunasekara said that 178 suspects have been detained under the detention orders and carrying out further investigations. He said that the CID is conducting investigations on the assets and bank accounts of the suspects. He added that the CID has suspended 100 bank accounts worth more than 134 million rupees belonging to the terrorist suspects, and 41 suspects enforced and funded the terrorists. He said that the CID has uncovered many important evidences after carrying out the investigations on 2,919 mobile numbers belonging to various persons and 116 EMI numbers.
විමර්ශනවලට වැදගත් වන තොරතුරු රැසකුත් අනාවරණය කරගෙන තිබෙනවා.
Meanwhile, the police have recorded statements from 81 injured persons over the St. Anthony's Church, Kochigade. Statements from 7 injured persons have not been able to be obtained due to issues occurred over their addresses. Those 7 persons and others have not been able to provide their statements can reach the special unit of the CID via the hotline number 0112 392 900 to provide necessary information. Responding to a question raised by the media regarding the security of the LPTA Pradeshya Sabha election, police media spokesman SP Ruwan Gunasekara said that the LPTA Pradeshya Sabha polls expected to be held in 47 polling centres. He said that a maximum police security will be allocated as the election set to be held only in 2 police divisions. He added that the number of police officers expected to be deployed for security purposes will be announced later.
Now, Minister Patali Champika Ranawaka says that the Colombo city will be taken forward for an accelerated development amid any challenges. The minister made these remarks while taking part in the ceremony to launch the construction of the North Colombo New Muthuwella flood control tunnels today. The aim of the project is to reduce and control the impact caused to Colombo city due to floods. The project has been initiated under Megapolis and Western Development Ministry and Sri Lanka Land Development Authority. The total capital investment estimated for the project is 3,450 million rupees. The new 760-meter long tunnel will be laid beneath and across Nava Muthuwella area and will be open to the sea close to Muthuwella Fisheries Harbour. The ministry said that 15,000 litres of water can be released to the sea per second through the new waterway. Minister Patali Champika Ranawaka said that this drainage mechanism with tunnels was introduced to Colombo city after 300 years. He said that there are mechanisms to close old tunnels, tunnels and railroads which have been built in the colonial era, but no mechanism to rebuild those that has not been introduced. He added that the present government has initiated these ventures again. He said that the current sewerage system in Colombo city is more than 150 years old and the drainage system in the city is equally old. He said that the Municipal Council has intervened in this process to rebuild the systems. The minister said that the government, together with the Water Supply Board, has been involved in restructuring the drinking water line system in the city. He said that the Asian Development Bank has extended assistance to renovate the sewerage system in Colombo city. He said that his ministry has also been involved in the restructuring of the rainwater drainage system.
Minister Sajid Premadasa says that the opponents have conspired to sabotage the process to further strengthen the country's Vihara system, utilizing the financial provisions allocated through the Central Cultural Fund. The minister said that he aims to establish 1,000 Dhamma school buildings across the country at the end of this year amid any conspiracies against the process. The minister made these remarks while taking part in a ceremony to vest the newly built Sri Panyasiha Dhamma School building at Sri Pushparama Viharaya in Horathapola Udubaddawa in Kurunegala with the studentship today. 4 million rupees worth financial provisions were allocated for the project through the Central Cultural Fund.
Now let's have a look around Asia in a minute. The missionaries of charity marked the 22nd death anniversary of Saint Teresa of Prayas today. The Nobel Peace Laureate was one of the most influential women in the world, acclaimed for her work amongst the poorest of the poor. Malaysian Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad met with the Russian President Vladimir Putin at the sideline of the Eastern Economic Forum today. The Malaysian Premier said his country is interested in the investments from Russia and Russian technology in the space industry. Samsung Electronics Company said its first foldable smartphone, the Galaxy Fold, with 5G mobile connectivity will be available in South Korea from tomorrow. The company said the device would be priced at around $1,900. North Korea has told the United Nations to cut the number of international staff it deploys in the country as the world body's program have failed due to the politicization of UN assistance by the hostile forces.
Over 40% of North Koreans are undernourished. Pyongyang has argued.
Now, the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority says that more than 143,000 tourists have arrived to the country during the month of August. The authority said that the arrival of tourists has been increased by 27,486 compared to the month of July. Chairman of the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority, Johan Jayaratne, said that this is a positive sign for the tourism sector. The authority pointed out that the arrival of the tourists to the country was reduced by 70.8% after the Easter Sunday terrorist attack. Most of the tourists have arrived from the countries such as India, United Kingdom, China, Germany, France, Australia, United States, Spain and Canada. With the improvement of the tourist arrival to the country, the revenue earnings of the businesses affiliated within the tourism industry have also increased significantly. Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority said that a development in the tourist arrivals to the country is expected in the near future. Meanwhile, leading tourism websites and media outlets in the world, including Lonely Planet, Travel and Leisure and CNN Travel, have named Sri Lanka as the most attractive destination in 2019.
Ambassador-designate of Sri Lanka to the Philippines, Shobini Gunasekara, assumed duties at the Embassy of Sri Lanka in Manila yesterday. While addressing the staff, Ambassador-designate Gunasekara stressed the need to think innovatively and work proactively to capitalize on growing strengths and opportunities to take bilateral relations into new heights. She emphasized on the vibrant economic development process in the Philippines and the need to proactively engage with the Philippines to further enhance the existing political and economic partnership, while also building bonds of friendship through cultural affinities. In her diplomatic career, she has served in the Embassy of Sri Lanka in Brussels as the First Secretary, Embassy of Sri Lanka in Beijing as the Minister, and Embassy of Sri Lanka in France as the Deputy Chief of Mission. The launch of the Medical Hotline service was held at the Ministry of Health, Nutrition and Indigenous Medicine premises today. The new hotline was introduced to facilitate hospitals in obtaining necessary drugs and to resolve the issues which have occurred due to the false rumours on a drug shortage in the country. According to the Health Ministry, state hospitals would be able to contact the medical hotline on 0766 474 777 and obtain life-saving drugs as well as emergency drugs as per their necessities. Necessary steps will be taken to provide the required drugs, disbursement of funds to purchase drugs or import medicine within a day by air cargo in accordance to the requirements made through the hotline. The hotline would be operated by the State Pharmaceutical Corporation and the Medical Supplies Division of the Ministry of Health.
Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health said that all sections of the society should mediate to prevent the occurrence of suicide. The day on the prevention of suicide falls on the 10th of this month. The theme is Let's All Get Together to Prevent Suicides. Doctors say that each person who attempts suicide is of lesser personality who has not realized the value of life. It has been reported that each year 800,000 persons throughout the world commit suicide. It has also been found out that each suicide creates an impact on 135 other persons. In Sri Lanka, 80% of the suicide victims are males above the age of 70 years. The number of women suicide victims between the ages of 16 and 19 years is around 20%. There is a 24-hour toll-free hotline for persons troubled with suicide. The number is 1926. Guidance councils are being conducted in every government hospitals. Now, a massive disruption occurred last evening when 3 wild elephants invaded Vijayapura and the Senpura villages in Polonnaruwa. The residents said that the wild elephants in Somawathiya reserve approached the nearby village for food and water due to the prevailing dry weather condition. The wild elephants which had invaded the villages had destroyed cultivations of the residents. The wildlife officers said that the wild elephants have reached the villages after walking more than 40 kilometers of distance. The wildlife officers have taken steps to chase the wild elephants back to the reserve. The residents have requested the wildlife officers to take immediate measures to mitigate the wild elephant menace, which has caused a massive impact on their lives.
And now on the stock update, the all shares price index closed at 5,850.25 points, dropped by 11.29 points, and the S&P SL20 index closed at 2,859.94 points, also dropped by 19.05 points at the end of trading in the Colombo Stock Exchange today, and turnover was over 518 million rupees. And here's a summary of market details of the Colombo Stock Exchange today. And the weather forecast. Met Department says that several spells of showers will occur in western, Sabaragamuwa, central and northwestern provinces, and light showers will occur in the southern province. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in Uva province and in Ampara and Batticaloa districts after 2 p.m. And the wind speed can increase up to 50 km per hour at times in northern, northwestern provinces and in Trincomalee district. There may be temperate localized strong winds during thunder showers. General public is kindly requested to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by lightning activity, and on the apparent southward relative motion of the sun, it is going to be directly over the latitudes of Sri Lanka during the 27th of August to the 7th of September this year. The nearest towns of Sri Lanka over which the sun is overhead tomorrow are Ambalangoda, Palgaswela, Veerapana, Moravaka, Veeravilla, Yodakandia about 12:10 noon.
And that is a wrap of tonight's Primetime News. Until we meet again next time, do take care and good night.
Good night.